Coalition here for another video for you guys today. Now I know, I'm going to receive some backlash for this one. I know there's going to be some hate in the comment sections. I know I'm going to get some DMs about this one, but it is what it is. When it comes to a film or anything in life, I can only give you my honest opinion. I promise you I will never give you an opinion just for the sake of pleasing the crowd. I will not water down my opinion just for the sake of pleasing the audience. And I will not give you an opinion just for the sake of causing controversy. I will only be honest with you. And honestly, I have a hot take about Joker. I actually just recently watched it. I waited until it came out on Blu-ray, which is something I do every summer, or every year. There's a couple movies that I just don't necessarily feel the need to experience on the big screen. Don't get me wrong. The best way to experience any film is on the big screen, but sometimes when it comes to a smaller story like I thought Joker would be, I kind of wanted to wait till I was at home. I could just sit down and really dive into it, really dive into the self-contained character study. And I did, and I'm not here to say that the movie was bad. I loved it. I loved it for what it was, and it's one of my favorite films of the year. Joaquin Phoenix's performance is definitely probably one of the best performances of the year. But without Joaquin Phoenix's performance, this movie is nothing. This movie has very little to offer other than Joaquin Phoenix's performance. Now, if he didn't nail his performance like he did, if someone else maybe played the role, or even if you kind of just took him out of the film in general, there would be nothing left for the film to offer. I felt like the film didn't do much, which I don't want to be that person, because I know this isn't an end game. I know this isn't Spider-Man Far From Home or Justice League or anything else. The film doesn't have to do much. I like the fact that it was little, but it was almost too little. It was almost too little. Not enough really happened for me in this film. Don't get me wrong, it was interesting to see Joaquin Phoenix's performance. It kept me interested throughout the whole film, but after watching it, I had to realize nothing really happened. Nothing really went on. There was really no interesting dialogue throughout the whole film, which I thought maybe there would be more interesting dialogue coming from this film, considering how good Joaquin Phoenix plays this psychopath role. But I felt like the only really compelling dialogue in the movie was basically towards the end when, spoiler alert, he kills Robert De Niro. I didn't feel like there was any other noteworthy performances in the film either. Honestly, I know there was a few people who showed up throughout. The movie was mainly, like I said, a self-contained character study, but there was no other interesting performances. The only interesting part of this movie was Joaquin Phoenix's performance. Other than that, the movie has very little to offer. Now, that alone, his performance alone puts this movie up there as, one of my favorite movies of the year. But I don't feel like I have to shy away from the criticism of the film as well, considering the fact that I just felt like I will keep reiterating, nothing was really going on. I waited for Joaquin Phoenix and the Joker. I waited for him to maybe do something interesting, to start causing chaos in Gotham, and it never really came. He shot 3 douchebags on the train, and it caused the whole city to go into panic, and I felt like that was kind of unrealistic, just considering the fact that in a city like Gotham, or in a city which is supposed to be like a Chicago or New York, things like that happen every day. And you want to tell me the thing that drove Gotham to the brink of chaos and a point of no return for the Joker to thrive was him shooting 3 douchebags on a subway? That wasn't enough for me, really. Like I said, the whole film didn't do that much for me. I thought it was good. I enjoyed it, like I said, just because of his performance alone. It's one of my favorite movies of the year, but in no way, shape, or form did it really live up to my expectations. Maybe that's partly because I did wait so long to see the film. So I have heard a bunch of takes on the film. I haven't really watched any spoiler reviews or anything like that, but I've heard plenty of people hype up the film. And I don't think they hyped it up for no reason. I mean, his performance was amazing, but other than that, just other than his performance, is what I'm saying. There was nothing else. The film did nothing else for me. Necessarily make it a bad film because it's not a bad film. It was an interesting film, but like I keep saying, when you really sit back and think about the movie, there's no like any. When I sit back and think of most movies, I can usually take a lot of different elements from that film that I felt like came together to make it an interesting film. Once Upon a Time in Hollywood. Um, I really like Leonardo DiCaprio's performance, Brad Pitt's performance, the little girl's performance. I really like the directing style. I really like the different choices made in that movie. I really like certain things that happened at the end of that movie. Um, and that's just as an example. I'm not comparing the two. But when it comes to the Joker, other than, oh man, Joaquin Phoenix was crazy in this role. Did you hear that laugh? Did you see how he looked, the weight he lost? Other than that, I can't think of one thing from this movie that I would talk about, and that's not necessarily a bad thing. And like I said, it doesn't necessarily make the movie a bad movie. It's just I feel like the movie doesn't have that much to offer, and so when a movie doesn't have that much to offer, I can't really put it in my top 5 or my top 10, you would think. But I mean, his performance is really solid. But after about 30, 45 minutes in, maybe about an hour into the movie, I started really looking at his mannerisms and his characteristics and just how he was acting in the movie. And it really made me think of Michael Jackson. Honestly, I know this might sound crazy, and I'm not saying this is a bad thing, but go look at some of Michael Jackson's interviews. Not him. I'm not talking about the dancing that Joaquin Phoenix does in the movie. He does a lot of dancing. I'm talking about his mannerisms, how he talks and how he acts, how he was talking when he was sitting there, and how he looked when he was sitting there talking with Robert De Niro, or in certain times when he's just sitting down talking to someone. It really made me feel like certain Michael Jackson interviews. Now, if you think I'm crazy, watch the movie again and go look at a lot of those just random Michael Jackson interviews. And I promise you, down to the voice, the mannerisms, the folding the legs back and forth, and just the kind of creepy uncomfortableness of it. Nothing against. I'm not trying to bash Michael Jackson here, but yeah, I promise you, you will see a lot of similarities between them in that performance. But yeah, that's basically my hot take on Joker. It's not to bash the film. It's not to say that it's a bad film or it shouldn't be one of your favorite films of the year. It's just to say that other than his performance, the film had little to nothing left to offer. I don't want to see this Joker face off against Batman. I like the movie, but when it comes to putting this Joker in a bigger comic book world against Batman and superheroes and stuff like that, I don't think it fits. And I can honestly say, although I thought his performance was very interesting, it was very crazy, it's very, unsettling, I will still have to say that Heath Ledger is the better Joker. Heath Ledger is the better Joker, simply because I felt like Heath Ledger's Joker had a lot of memorable lines, a lot of quotes, and he did a lot of interesting things in that movie to cause chaos in Gotham, like a lot of like smart, interesting like moves that he made to cause this chaos that really to really make you like whereas this Joker shoots 3 guys on a subway and goes on a talk show and says a few lines that were pretty cool. Like I said, it is what it is. But that's my hot take on the Joker. Hope you guys enjoyed this video. I hope you guys don't hate me for this. Like I said, I don't hate the movie. I really enjoy the movie, but I just had to point out something that I felt like was blatantly obvious to me. But go ahead and drop a like. If you hated this hot take, we know you're going to drop a dislike. But be sure to subscribe. And as always, you have a good day, YouTube.